According to the CDC, approximately 61 million Americans live with some sort of a disability, while 10% of the population identify as having an invisible disability. Simone Giangiordano lives with invisible health challenges herself and is a lifestyle and business coach who believes the power to say, I can't, will set you free. Simone brings hope to those individuals living with invisible health challenges, helping them to positively impact their quality of life and state of their business journey. She gives credence to the notion that normal, societal, and cultural norms are far more limiting towards progress. She believes if we share a sense of compassion, understanding, and unity, we can overcome many of the misconceptions and stigmas surrounding chronic illness. She joined me this week to tell me more of how building a sense of community and support can help us through any difficult and limiting health and individual challenges. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Simone, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program. And I'm super excited to learn about your current journey and all about your life journey as well. Great to be with you this afternoon. And thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Kevin. I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
You know, as am I. And they tell me that you believe in the power of courage, and to say I can will really set you free. So that's an interesting concept. So I'm wondering if you can tell me more about it.
Absolutely. The power of I can't is all about accepting our limitations. And I believe that all of us have some kind of limitation. Like we can't all be successful at everything, right? And it's because we have different limitations. We have different skills, we have different strengths, we have different needs and limitations. And we tend to not talk about limitations. And just to back up too, I largely work with individuals who, like myself, have various invisible illnesses. So it's easy to try to push through, pretend like they don't exist, deny them, keep pushing, and that gets us in trouble. And it holds us back from living fully by trying to do things like everybody else per se, because there's so much stigma around invisible health challenges and other health challenges. It's unfortunately there, and things are improving. So the power of I can't is taking the time to back up and become aware and really acknowledge what these limitations or challenges are and the impact they have on our life. And I believe it takes courage to slow down and dig in and be honest with ourselves sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, but when you do that, then you accept those limitations and then you even embrace them. And now you're opening the door to look at them from a whole new perspective to help guide you how to create your lifestyle, how to create your work and business in the way that supports your truest needs. So you can be most successful, so you can share your gifts more fully, and so you can live a better lifestyle in a way that's aligned with you. So for me, it has been incredibly empowering, incredibly freeing, and it has taken in hindsight, a lot of courage to step up and be honest with myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Simone, as you know, I was born with cerebral palsy, and I always say about circumstances, you can either make your circumstances work for you, or you can work for your circumstances, right?
Right. And that's the power behind it. That's the power behind saying, I can't do something and it's okay. So it takes out that extra layer of suffering of, I can't do something. It's okay. If you can't do something, it's okay. Now let's look at it with new perspective and find out how to help it guide us.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of your journey, as you said, is helping people with their invisible health challenges improve the quality of their life and their business. So I'm wondering if you can tell me all about that great aspect of what you do.
Sure. I look at, especially for entrepreneurs, that there's who have health challenges that, or anybody really, that there's two foundations to your success when it comes to including our work lives. The foundation of you, yourself, and then the foundation of your business. And when we work in those ways that create that lifestyle and that business that supports your health and well-being. And that's, again, you have to know your limitations. You have to accept them. You have to basically create a stronger relationship with your health, a healthy relationship with your health per se. And by that, then you're able to create that lifestyle. What's a lifestyle that really fits my needs? Forget about what society is saying is success. Forget about, hey, do I need to earn $100,000 in 3 months, or I need to hit that $1 million mark, because those are all just external factors. And when you instead look at, what do I need? What's in my heart? What kind of lifestyle do I really want? And I'm not talking about a vacation kind of lifestyle, that every day feels like a vacation. What really would bring you the most joy, the most peace, the most calmness, whatever the words resonate with you, and make that your goal. And now build that business around your needs. So for example, if you're only able to work at a desk for 2 hours at a time, then rebuild your business to be able to do that. Rebuild your lifestyle to do that. And it starts by accepting it. So that's part of the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And Simone, tell me, when you look at the notion of optimizing both your health and your opportunities in life, how do you think those two things are interconnected?
So optimizing your health and well-being and optimizing your opportunities. I'm going to start by a quick stat that nearly 1 out of 2 of us has at least one or more chronic health challenge. And on that note, very few of us live with optimal well-being. So when you look at that optimal health and well-being, it again is looking at your needs. And so from the perspective of, what are your needs from the perspective of that lifestyle? What are your needs from the perspective of what are your beliefs and values? These are all parts of your well-being. So it's looking at life that you're more than just your physical health. It's also our emotional health. It's being in alignment with our spiritual well-being. It's our social aspects. And it's so much more than just our physical health. And that kind of says, okay, maybe my physical health isn't where I want it to be, but I can still have really great overall well-being. And as an example, there's individuals who have various health challenges and a great personality, and you can see the joy, you can see the purpose. And you are doing a wonderful example, helping other individuals see that. And then there's individuals who maybe have no health challenge, but they don't have an overall healthy well-being. They're not happy in life. They don't know what, maybe they do or don't know what their purpose is, but that where you come away and you just feel like kind of down after you talk to somebody. They might have the most perfect health or optimal health, but the physical health alone is only part of our well-being. And so by looking at our whole picture, the overall well-being, you're living in alignment. So that's going to help you see those other opportunities that are good for you, that are going to come in and further support your health and well-being, because they're in alignment with you. So in one way, it makes it easier. The more you understand what your needs are and your beliefs and your values and around your physical and emotional health and well-being, the more you can say no to those opportunities that aren't good for you, that aren't aligned. Maybe it's not good for you because it'll create a situation you're working way too much and cause a bad flare-up. Maybe it's not a good opportunity because it's going to be emotionally draining. So I think it makes it easier to align ourselves with the best opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also tell me that you don't necessarily believe that societal or cultural norms are a good thing. You say that sometimes they limit they provide limiting to our limitations in life. So tell me about your view on societal and cultural norms. I'm curious.
Right, absolutely. I'm going to gear this again more towards the concept of individuals who have invisible health challenges, but really a lot of these concepts apply to absolutely anybody and everybody. I like to say that we live in an I can society. I can do this if I just push more, if I just do more, if I just push more, if I just X, Y, Z, then I'm going to achieve what I want. Then I'm going to have happiness. Then I'm going to have success. Just fill in the story. And when it comes to health challenges for invisible, especially, is mind over body. Just push through it. Pretend like, you're strong. Don't let that get in the way. And that's coming from a place of, overall culture of hustle. And yes, maybe that has shifted some with the pandemic, but I believe it's never really truly going to go away. When you look at ancient writings, you still have people going off to the desert to get away from the modern pressures of society, in like 200 BC and stuff, and AD. So it's always going to be something as a society we struggle with, is those external pressures of do more, be more, the billboards, advertising. I've been in marketing for many, many years, and it's rare that advertising is truly meant to support you on your true well-being journey of what's best for you, rather than, hey, this is what success looks like. It's defining success. It's making us want to buy things, to be different. And when you again look at this, who you are, that self-awareness, that self-acceptance, self-compassion to support it, then you can let go of those pressures of, those earning X amount in X amount of days. What is the real driving force behind that? Is it really going to make somebody happy, or is long-term living in alignment going to make you more happy?
Yeah, absolutely. And, based on our conversation to this point, Simone, I'm curious to ask you, how do you define living an authentically fulfilling life?
Great. Again, so much of my work comes back to the concepts of self-awareness, slowing down, taking pauses, and it can be in little short stints, few seconds here, there, minutes, hours, even a week, so forth. So you have to slow down and gain that self-awareness and continue to gain that self-awareness and begin to intuitively almost, understand, is that good for me? Isn't it good for me? You need to know what your truest beliefs are, what your truest values are. And the beliefs can shift over time. And then quite frankly, if you spend time in self-awareness, you're going to find that they do shift because they have been influenced by societal and cultural norms all your life. This applies to everybody. So, and to live authentically with the health challenges, you have to accept them, because otherwise we're living in denial, and you can't live in denial of your truest physical needs, your truest emotional needs, and be living authentically.
Yeah, absolutely. And Simone, you transitioned to the work that you're doing now from the corporate world, and I know it had a direct effect on your health. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about it.
Sure. I left corporate America in 2008 after nearly 2 decades And I've had health challenges since I was an infant. A lot have been around lung function and so forth, and then layered on many things on top of that. And so, towards the end of my career, 4 days after my honeymoon, I took a bad fall and had very serious injuries to my back and neck that weren't fully diagnosed. And that caused so many autoimmune and visible items to really flare up. So, over the course of the year, my health really spiraled downward. And I want to say I've always been health conscious. So literally to the point, one of my last days, I was going to go get a cup of coffee just to get through the day. I was having one of those days. I was slurring my words. I was struggling to even keep my eyes open. I was trying to type, but my fingers there wasn't connecting with my brain. I was struggling to walk. So I'm like, just get a coffee, just get through today and tomorrow will be better. Kind of being a little optimistic there. And I went to get a coffee and I came out down on the street, downtown Pittsburgh, and coffee shop was only 1 block away, and traffic zooming by, pedestrian kind of skirting. And I realized I'm just like leaning against a retaining wall and just doing it. I couldn't get one leg in front of the other. In fact, I was taking all my energy, all my efforts, all my brain power just to not collapse on the sidewalk. And that's when 2 coworkers happened upon me and they took one look. They wanted to call an ambulance. I was like, no. I managed to tell them, no, just get me back and call my husband to come get me. And my husband took one look at me. He's like, this job is killing you. Why don't you just leave? I was like, leave? I can't do that. But the next day I went in and I turned in my resignation with 5 weeks notice. So I did. I spent the better part of probably about 9 months working on my health and well-being, the best that I knew how. And then I started my own business. And at that time, and this is an important lesson here I do want to share. At that time, because my health was still in such disarray, misfunction, and so forth, it was like I built my business around what can I do if it's 2 hours and it's 2 a.m. Because my mornings were tough. There were days I couldn't dress myself. It maybe would take me to noon to really get functioning at all. So I really started essentially what was an early virtual assistant business. But being an achiever, so the lesson there, one that I'll come back to, is this wasn't my dream job, but I knew it would give me the skills, the entrepreneurial experience, starting to build my network to go on a path that would be more aligned with me in time. So it was the best I could do for myself at the time. So it was alignment from that perspective. And I grew too fast. I didn't set strong enough boundaries around growth. And that is one of the biggest things I see with people who have the invisible kind of health challenges and so forth, is growing too quickly and being overwhelmed from a health perspective. Everything starts flaring up. And that's what I did. So I had a couple shutdowns, and I had 3 shutdowns in the first 5 years. And finally, when I really wanted to grow my business significantly more, I wanted to hire a sales consultant. And at the end of this meeting, this is a very expensive program in Pittsburgh, and he sat me down and pointed to a poster on the wall that had a triangle with mind, body, spirit. And he said, look, your mind and your spirit are great, but until you learn how to take care of your body, your health, you're never going to achieve the success you desire.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also, Simone, fascinated to ask you about the concept of perseverance and how you view it, because I know, as you mentioned, you shut down your businesses, your first business a total of 3 times. I think your last shutdown was in 2012. So tell me about the power of perseverance and how you view it.
Yes, perseverance. Again, in life, the more that we, anyone, health challenges or not, persevere, we all have challenges. So many challenges can't be seen. There's domestic abuse. There's so many, there's losing loved ones there. We all have these challenges. And perseverance, and again, I'm going to start to relate this more around the invisible health challenges, I understand it can be overwhelming to have all these symptoms and that other people can't see, that you look fine, And then the next day you might hardly be functioning, or you might be struggling to walk, or you might be struggling to keep your eyes open, or slurring your words, just cognitive fatigue. There's so many things that are really, really challenging to manage. And in short times, people might see that as fine. So the perseverance there is to, really accept those. And then from there, having the curiosity to say, how can I continually make this a little better? How can I bring a little more peace into my life? And having gratitude for what you do have, having gratitude for what your body does do for you to support you, regardless of all the things that don't work right. Having and keeping that hope that, hey, this is a really challenging time, and almost maybe even leaning into those challenging times, exploring them again with curiosity, with self-compassion, and maybe taking accountability. What could you have done that may have led to this? I know I made big mistakes that led to 3 shutdowns, but it didn't do any good to beat myself up over those, but to learn from them. So learning, curiosity, gratitude, and just, an understanding that life has uncertainties. We've never had, if you have invisible health challenges, day to day uncertainties can be there, week to week uncertainties can be there. But regardless, we all have uncertainty in life. Nobody here has any idea for sure what tomorrow will bring.
And Simone, I tell you, life is a constant game of learning, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm a learner, so I love that aspect.
Yeah, I always tell people that the key to learning is to be a sponge. The more knowledge you absorb, the smarter you are, right?
And knowledge in so many ways. Knowledge is power. Knowledge about how our bodies are working, knowledge about the little signals, listening to those little signals. Those are knowledge to help manage the things that impact us the most, emotionally or physically. So
Yeah,
knowledge is power, and then obviously like normal ways of learning.
yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that too, and I know you have experience of this. I'm curious to get your thoughts on the notion that not all people learn the same way, right? So it's important to be nimble when you're teaching something too, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, very much. Individuals definitely have different strengths, different ways of learning, whether it's more tactile and visual versus more auditory versus repetitive versus one time in depth. And I have an education degree and also did a lot of training, creation of training programs within the corporate world. So yes, there's a lot of ways to look in, and then embodiment embodiment of, especially around learning to listen to your body, embodiment of feeling those symptoms, feeling the impact, those triggers, to be able to catch it sooner. Goes kind of with the emotional intelligence, feeling like, oh my gosh, I want to react in an angry way, and catching it and slowing down and responding. So it's all different ways of listening and learning. So there's just so many ways to learn. And I actually like to incorporate a lot of different ones for that reason, but also just to make it more interesting, more fun, and to learn at different levels. Even art kind of stuff helps us learn in different ways. Music, there's so many different aspects that are really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And Simona, I'm curious to have a short conversation with you about the power of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And, I strongly believe that a diversity of perspective is a strength, because not one person has all the answers to life's problems and solutions, right? So I'm curious to get your thoughts on the notion of diversity of perspective.
I see diversity as a benefit in all aspects of life. And I'm talking personal level, even, to being a learner. I like to learn from individuals with different backgrounds, with different experiences from different parts of the world. To me, that is it's invigorating. And I think, if more of us recognize that, even on a personal level, that can translate into the workforce. So kind of almost like I'm a very relationship-based person. So to me, the diversity, equity, inclusion programs are super, super important in workplaces. Advocacy, absolutely essential. But then as each of us take the responsibility to put that in our heart, to want to learn from individuals who don't look like us, act like us, function like us, be like us, that opens the doors for all of it to work together.
Yeah, it's important to open your mind up to all sorts of learning, for sure.
There's so much to learn from anyone and everyone.
Yeah, and I know that you've learned a great deal, and a turning point in your life is when you were taking care of your dad, and it even inspired you to write a book. So I'm wondering if you can tell me about it.
Yeah, it's the book isn't there yet, but it's programmed. So wow, this is a big one. So in fall of 2017, it was time to make the decision to whether or not to be a caregiver, one of the caregivers for my father. And I live in Florida, and my parents were 4 miles down the road. So it worked wonderfully from that perspective. Sorry, something popped up here. Get on my way there. Okay, so made the decision to pull back my marketing business, to not to stop it, but to pull it back so I could keep that going and make the space to really, truly be there for my father and my family through this process. And, with the arm troubles, now my husband was largely my physical aspect, to help do the things I couldn't do. But what happened was it ended up being a very peaceful, a very inspirational time for me. And I didn't expect this at all. And it became a time where I felt my gift to my father and my family was to be there. But I really got such a gift in return. And that was the life lesson that all that matters is the impact we have and the love we share. And I knew, yes, I've been in marketing a long time. I actually still have my marketing business where I keep work with a few clients. But my heart and my passion is all around helping individuals build their successful business, create their lifestyle, support them on their journey around their health challenges. So basically to live life well alongside health challenges is another way to say it. And I knew to do that, I couldn't keep trying to hide. Even though I'd left the corporate world because of health challenges, I still tried to hide them. I still tried to pretend like, oh, I'm fine today. I'm just tired. I could hardly move my head. Well, my neck's just stiff today. In the meantime, I couldn't look up. I couldn't move. That's just how I looked up, right? So that took probably one of the absolutely biggest time, the time I needed the most courage to kind of come out and say, look, I have 20 plus health challenges. I really struggle to get through the day a lot of times. And that is how that enabled me to come to the place to be able to create these programs. It was that place of self-compassion, that place, and this is back in 2017 into 18, that place of self-compassion, that place of self-love, that place of acceptance, that it's okay, embracing those changes, changing the relation to your health, that shifted everything. And I had to do that in order to help others. I had to come clean.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you use your signature program and the power of I Cant, and alongside your business coaching, as you had just mentioned. I'm curious to ask you if you have to sort of take a retrospective of the impact that you've made. What do you think has been your biggest impact to date?
I think in a general sense, from feedback I get from a lot of individuals, is the hope that I can live better, that this and the realization this doesn't define me, and kind of breaking out of their own shell so they can change their lifestyle habits, so they can change the setup of their lifestyle, the setup their business to truly do what's best for them. And it's not in a selfish way. It's so they can be there more for their loved ones, so they can be there more for their clients. And also, we all want to contribute our gifts to the world. And when you're struggling so much just to get by or even to survive the day, you feel like you're not contributing. So to give that hope back of moving beyond existing or surviving or doubt of, can I grow my business? What's life going to be like with these health challenges? That hope around those, that yes, you can. Ultimately, I can't so that I can. It's ultimately so that you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And so my final question for you is, I'm curious to ask you about a life motto that you may live by. And when you look at your overall professional and personal legacy, how do you want that to be defined?
My life model?
Your life motto and your legacy. How do you want that to be defined?
Motto, not model. Okay, yes. I have to share this. This is exciting for me, and it ties right in. I co-wrote a song with Christina Wells, who's a contestant on season 2018 America's Got Talent, and she has this soulful, inspirational voice. And I believe that the world is better when we all share our gifts. And this ties into all my work with individuals. And the song is all about having the courage to be you. In fact, that's the title. And it's about, removing the mask, accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, ultimately, so we can share our impact, so we can share our love. So that impact, the lyrics are literally, we're going to make an impact 6 feet or a mile, doesn't matter how far. So a lot of times we think of impact as, oh my gosh, I got to go change the world. It has to be this big thing. And it can be, and that's wonderful. But for me personally, my motto, my legacy, I simply want to put out little itsy bitsy teeny tiny impacts on an individual level that helps them live their life better, that helps them impacts other people. So I'm not looking for any big, huge legacy. I just want to help individuals live better so that there's that little tiny indiscernible ripple effect that keeps going out from there.
Yeah, Simone, there's a sign in my office that says that everyone's portrait of success is different, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, and finally, tell me, if people want to get connected with the good work that you do, what's the best way they can do that?
Great. I'll share 2 ways. My website is SimoneG.net. And again, that's SimoneG.net. Or if somebody is interested in learning more or wants to even talk through one thing, I have a 20-minute virtual coffee chat. I love coffee. Coffee not required, but they can schedule a 20-minute virtual chat if they go to meetwithsimoneg.com.
Fantastic.
And I'm happy to meet people.
Well, fantastic. I'm glad you carved out some time in your busy Florida schedule to talk to me today all about maximizing our health and life journey. Your work in the space, and time on my behalf is most appreciated. And I want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Kevin. It's an absolute pleasure talking with you, and I look forward to staying connected.